Hey, this is ODESZA, and you're watching Bandwagon TV.
We've changed musically, we've changed as people. I mean, we've kind of grown up now after leaving college through touring and music. So, yeah, it's hard to pinpoint one thing that's changed, but pretty much everything.
Yeah, we've basically been living with each other for the past, 5 years. So, yeah, we're a full family now. Feels pretty good. I mean, it's always nice to get that recognition. It just came out of nowhere. We had really no expectations, so it was really, really nice little surprise. But yeah, it was cool to get there and see, how the whole thing works. It was kind of a shock for us because, we've never done. It's pretty. There's a lot of big acts and big names. So it was a little out of our comfort zone to be there because we're kind of a smaller electronic act relative to a lot of the other stuff.
We're like walking next to Cardi B.
Yeah,
we don't see ourselves
in the flashing camera. Yeah, so it was pretty surreal overall. But it was really fun. You get to kind of see how all that stuff works from that side, which is really cool.
Well, we did something different we had never done before. Every other collaboration before this last album was purely online. It was finding people on Twitter or SoundCloud or something. And this was the first time we were sitting in studios with people and writing full songs with them, which was very different for people that pretty much have made music in a basement for years. And so we were learning a lot about how to make music differently during that process. So I think that influences the music quite a bit. And it was really fun for us to connect with people in the moment instead of almost building something cool and then sending it off to someone and then them being inspired. Everything was quick and fast. And it just kind of changed our production technique a little bit. And we've learned a lot about how to produce differently through that.
Started working with a bunch of kind of just writers basically and found out pretty quickly that the best energy was coming when we worked with actually other artists that were, performing and doing a bunch of stuff, and really indie artists, because it was nice to kind of work with people that didn't really have a background in electronic music. And so they kind of pulled us in a more indie way or kind of outside the electronic realm when we pulled them in. So that kind of push and pull led to some really interesting stuff. And, I think the Leon track is probably one of my favorites off the album. And we're very happy with kind of how that process worked and are ready to kind of refine it in the next writing process.
Would you give me shelter? I need you now.
So what we'll do is we'll basically take these songs that maybe have some slower pieces, a little less energy, and ramp them up a bit. And so we'll remix them and add all these other elements and whatnot. So we'll have kind of the original pieces, but transformed and reimagined in ways that kind of make more sense for the electronic live setting. And we'll add the horns and then the drum line as well. So adding all these pieces just kind of amps up the energy level where it should be, I think, for some of those pieces that need it.
We finally get to choose where you listen to the music, and for a record they can listen to it anywhere. But when you actually get to choose the venue, you kind of, you have all these different variables that you get to play with. We get to bring out different performers and we get to do different kinds of visuals, and people aren't as on their phone as, they're paying attention. And, a lot of people paid a lot of money to get there. They drove really far. And I feel like you actually have people's attention for the first time. So we really try to find ways to make it really fun and a unique experience. And we're always kind of trying to make it more immersive and changing.
So won't you love me better? I'm waiting here. I need you now.
I mean, not all of them. Some of them are pretty dark, and people have got them tattooed as if they were love songs, which is surprising to me. But I guess there's a beauty in the darkness of it.
Yeah, I mean, love songs, I think, it's kind of, I think what we kind of go for in the music has a lot of is kind of these euphoric moments, which I think can be translated into love moments and whatnot. But a lot of we're not really satisfied with a song until it's like you get that buzz, those chills on the back of your neck kind of feeling. And so that's kind of what we aim for. And I think that can be interpreted as love songs a lot of time. And yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of love elements, especially with some of the writers we worked with. It's kind of that euphoria inspires that kind of emotion, which is I think a really positive thing. The world needs love.
It's love, sweet love. So won't you love me better? I'm waiting here.
I mean, people always are going to label whatever they don't know a lot about. I mean, there's so many subgenres of music that it would be really difficult to know everything about everyone you listen to. So it doesn't really bother us. I think the coolest thing about electronic music is it feels like the biggest melting pot of so many different sounds that you can make like an electronic version of almost every song, where it's kind of harder to do it within a rock genre. You know, you can do everything. So yeah, we're always changing and evolving, and that's what we like about it.
Yeah. Yeah. We've always been attracted to cinematic music, and going back to that euphoric kind of soundscape and epic, grandiose scale is something I think are really attracted to in sound design and music, period. So I don't know if it'll ever get out of us. I think there's always going to be traces of that throughout the music. But again, you know, as we go back into writing, we'd love to kind of push a bunch of different directions, but I can't see that being left out of the process. You know, that'll always be, it's kind of like become our MO and our sound. And, you know, I think even if we tried to move away from it as much as possible, we'd still end up making stuff with it in there, because it's just something that's kind of just innate in what we do in our process. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think it's something we love, bottom line.
And trying to make stuff that doesn't feel like it'll work together is the most fun part. So if we just made like a really dark house song, but you made the build feel really beautiful and euphoric, but then it goes back to that, like that contrast is the most interesting part of music to me. So trying to make those things work together. We've been on tour pretty much since the album came out, so it's been pretty difficult to write new stuff. We're always like making little ideas, but we really want to take some time and make a sound that we haven't heard, or at least heard us do before. So yeah, we're really interested in just kind of experimenting and finding something new or something else that we really enjoy, and kind of evolving the sound again.
Yeah. But I think we're going to try to split it off and experiment in a bunch of different ways, you know, hip hop to dance to whatever. We can try to like maybe push in different directions. So yeah, we'll see what happens really. You know, it's all up in the air till we start basically.